I want to talk to you about how most of us are meeting these days. Well, maybe not even most of us, but in my world anyway, the people I know, the people I've met, a lot of them have been through the internet. And the way I use the internet is when I want to meet people is for friendships, but I know not everybody uses the internet for that reason. There's a lot of people that are using applications to find love relationships. Some people are using them strictly for hookups. And, I use some apps as well. And I would like to meet some like-minded individuals to bounce ideas off of and just hang out and socialize and do things. It's not about sex. It's not about being in a intimate romantic relationship, although that isn't a bad thing. I think if I meet somebody and we develop a friendship and they have an interest in taking that relationship a bit further, I'd be open to the idea. But it's really not my end goal. But I know it is for a lot of people. And I was on an app recently and I got a message, and the person said that we have a lot in common, that we are looking for the same thing. So, I had a lot written in my profile, so I'm so like, what is it that we have in common? And he said that we are both looking for a relationship. And I'm like, okay. All right, so I started talking to him, and I was able to engage him in conversation, which is not easy to do, because my experience has been people usually exchange a few how-dos, and then they quickly pivot to what are you into? And so I already know where the conversation is going. It's heading south. Sometimes I'm not even confronted with a hello, how are you? It's just a nude picture and or a question if I am looking. Well, no, I'm not. At least not what they're looking for. And, I used to get really indignant about it. It used to really bother me. But I realized people are using the apps for different reasons. It really bothers me when people believe that the app was written with their needs in mind. It's not. It's what you make of it. It's really for, it's just to me for whatever reason, And, I realize that a lot of these apps are dominated by people that are using it just for sex. But, I realize that you have to fish in the ocean where most fish swim. And I know that a lot of people are using these apps, and I know that people like myself are a needle in the haystack, but they are out there. So going back to this one individual, this one was a talker, and those are good. Those are hard to find. Unfortunately, what I often find is that the people that have the ability, the gift for gab, are those that are really limited to discussing what I have often heard referred to as being a person's favorite subject, that being themselves, and so through conversation I was able to, figure out this person is on a rebound. He's usually not on these apps. I had never seen him before, and he's on the app because he is having some difficulty with somebody that he met, probably through the app as well. And he is looking to run into the arms of someone else. Well, that's not going to be me. All right. I am willing to hear you out and try to help you work through your problem, despite the fact that you're a complete stranger to me. And, maybe I was able to do that because we exchanged numbers and exchanged some texts for a few days, and then eventually the messages stopped coming. So a couple of things may have happened. He was able to work out the issues with whomever it is that he's interested in, or he met someone else. And I know not to take things personal so much anymore. When you stop hearing from someone, it's not necessarily what you did. It could be that they just met somebody else. Don't take offense. We are not for everyone, but there is someone out there, and you just gotta continue putting yourself out there. Don't get bitter. Don't lash out at one person for all the things that those who came before him or her did. I understand we carry a lot of baggage, but going back to this person, one of the things that he and I were talking about was, he was playing a chess game with this guy. He was like, well, should I do this? He said this to me. What should I do if he says that to me? That sort of thing. And, what I tried to tell him is just be yourself. And, you gotta have enough, I guess, love for yourself to want to share who you really are with everyone out there. Everyone should accept you for who you really are. You don't want to go through life trying to do the right thing to get someone to like you, and that's what I felt he was trying to do. He was trying to find ways to make this person happy. And, if you go through life trying to make somebody else happy, you're not going to have any time left over to make yourself happy. You have to make yourself happy, and part of doing that is being who you really are, and hopefully, the right person will pick up on that. They'll admire you for it, and they will love you for it. But, I think that in this game of chess that he's playing with this person took the bait, made a move, so to speak. A lot of times we communicate with people that have absolutely no interest in us, and they don't respond, and then it's over. We move on to somebody else. And then we move on to somebody who does take the bait and does make a move in response, and already your mind is going 100 miles an hour believing that something is going to happen with this person, and it's not necessarily true. The people that give us the most satisfaction and pleasure early on oftentimes turn out to be the ones that cause us the most pain. So, I think it's important that we cultivate friendships, relationships that we're trying to develop early on. Be really honest about who we are. I think we should also be respectful, cordial, polite, whatever you want to call it, towards that person. Don't play games. Don't keep them hanging. Don't see how they react to certain things. It never really seems to work. It may drag things. It may keep the person in your life longer, but the quality of your interactions with that person are going to go, just continue going downhill. You're not going to get what you want. So just be honest with people and treat people nice. And I think things will start turning around, but just with that person. But just because you want someone doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have them. Sometimes it's just not in the cards. Eventually, you can take all the advice that I've just given and do all those things, and still you may not get what you want. There are no guarantees, that's life. I have found throughout my lifetime that there's constantly someone chasing someone, and that someone being chased is chasing someone else. And it's just a vicious circle that continually repeats itself. Sometimes you see someone you think, oh my God, they are so beautiful, and they can have whoever they want, and yet you see them really unhappy and crying because someone who you think is a dog turned them down flat. And you wish that you had the the same opportunity that that dog had with that person. But that's just life. And these beautiful people, you know, you may not have much pity for them, thinking that they can have whoever they want. But a lot of times, the one person they want is the one person that doesn't want them, you know. And that could make an attractive person, like everybody else, really angry and bitter. And I find that that's what happens oftentimes with attractive people. We see them and they're either dumb or, you know, they are mean or they're boring. And my theory on that has always been is that they're boring because they can be. They don't have to be fun and engaging, you know, jolly, as they say about people with a weight problem. They're so fun and jolly, you know, because they have to compensate for other things that are usually things that people are not desirous of. So attractive people don't have to do that. But attractive people are targets for a larger group of people that are after them. And they have a lot more choices and also a lot of opportunities to make mistakes. A lot more opportunities to make mistakes and choose the wrong people. So they get burnt a lot. So sometimes that makes them really mean. And why some are not smarter, that I don't know. Bad genes, I guess. But I really have a lot to say on the subject. Sometimes it's hard to get all those ideas out there when the camera is rolling. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully, you know, you found this video mutually beneficial. And I say mutually because it's also somewhat cathartic for me to talk about these things. But if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to expand on, I'd be happy to discuss it with you. Just go ahead and send me a comment. Thank you for your time.